Some even say that Jim Carrey was framed by the Illuminati, they murdered his girlfriend, they made him out to be a cocaine addict with herpes to destroy his public persona, and he proceeded to quit acting soon after. Is this an elaborate framing orchestrated by dark figures behind the Hollywood curtain? Or is Jim Carrey ashamed of what he's done, and now he's recluded into the darkness, hiding behind existential ideologies? Welcome back, YouTube family. My name is CHRIScameraguy, and today we embark on a profound exploration into the multifaceted realm of the enigmatic Jim Carrey. His comedic brilliance has left us in stitches, and his unexpected, profound performances have touched our hearts. Jim Carrey, a figure often celebrated as a man, a myth, and a legend. But could there be a darker narrative within the tapestry of Carrey's life? He's been heralded as a hero for his bold expose of the Illuminati on a Jimmy Kimmel show. However, the shadows cast on Carrey's legacy include accusations of introducing his ex-girlfriend to drugs and allegedly transmitting an STD to her right before her death. He's even been criticized and accused of being an anti-vaxxer. Despite these controversies, Carrey has also been lauded for his existential spiritualism, adding intricate layers of complexity to his public persona. Some have even speculated that Jim Carrey was silenced and punished by the Illuminati after he outed them back in 2014. We explore that at the end of this video, so make sure to watch till the very end, and it really helps this channel grow if you hit the like button and share this video with a friend. And if you'd like to help this channel on a deeper level, please join me on Patreon. It's $10 per month, and it helps keep this show stay afloat. So join me on patreon.com/Chriscameraguy. And also, watch till the very end of this video to see the winner of last week's video giveaway, and the winner of the original painting by our old pal, Richie the Barber. And here's a quick word from our sponsor. For the last few years, I've been dealing with multiple spam calls every single day. It has gotten to the point where I usually don't even answer my phone anymore. But that's not all. I've also been receiving scam messages trying to hack into my Instagram and YouTube account. And it's really unsettling to think about how much of my personal information might be out there just waiting to be exploited. I decided to do a quick Google search of my name and email address, and I was shocked by what I found. My personal details were just a few clicks away, and it made me feel incredibly vulnerable. And that's why I've started using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura is like a digital shield that helps protect my online privacy. It alerts me when my personal information is being sold on the dark web or by data brokers. And it automatically removes my details from these websites. In a world where data breaches are becoming more and more common, having this kind of protection is essential. Take the recent AT&T breach, for example. 73 million customers' details were leaked on the dark web. And it's a stark reminder that we all need to be proactive about our online security. And with Aura, I have peace of mind knowing that even if there's another breach, I'm covered with an all-around protection in one convenient place. I value my privacy, and I'm sure that you do too. If you want to take control of your online security, head over to aura.com/Chriscameraguy to start your 2-week free trial. The link is also in the description below. Let's work together to keep our personal information safe and secure. Now back to our video. Jim Carrey was born on January 17th, 1962 in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. Jim discovered his love for making people laugh pretty early on. Picture a young Carrey grabbing the mic in smoky comedy clubs, unleashing a torrent of impressions and jokes that would set the stage for his future in the limelight. Carrey's comedic voyage kicked off in 1979 with stand-up gigs at Yuck Yucks in Toronto, Ontario. So fast forward to 1981, and he's slaying at the world-famous Comedy Store in Los Angeles, catching the eye of none other than Rodney Dangerfield, who promptly signed him for tour performances. Even though Jim Carrey had seen some bleak moments in his life, he has always been very spiritual and is a strong believer in manifestation. So much that in 1985, Jim Carrey wrote himself a $10 million check. He dated it 10 years into future and wrote in a memo line, "Acting services rendered." Carrey was 23 years old at the time. He was a fledgling actor struggling to find work. He carried the check in his wallet everywhere he went. And if acting didn't work out, he was likely headed for a Canadian steel mill. But it did, and 10 years later, after writing that check, Carrey was a star. Jim revealed that it was his father Percy that inspired him to follow his dreams. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened to his life. Carrey spoke at the Maharishi University commencement and gave an inspiring speech to the students. And after explaining that most people don't believe that they can ask the universe for what they want, their dreams, he gave a poignant tale about his father, and I quote, "So many of us choose our path out of fear, disguised as practicality. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that was possible for him. So he made a conservative choice, and instead he got a job as an accountant. When I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which is that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love." This story really resonates with me personally because a few years ago, my father, who dedicated his entire life to working as a blue-collar worker on a cargo ship, tragically passed away just before his retirement in a fatal accident on that very ship. And I can't help but wonder how different things might have been if my father had followed his dream of being a singer instead of sailing the high seas to make a living. His absence leaves a big hole, and it's just a constant reminder of how fragile life is. So with that being said, I'd like to announce to you guys that I wrote a short film with my girlfriend a couple of years ago, and it just won 2 awards. One at the Berlin International Film Festival and another at the New York Script Awards. I mean, can you believe it? Your pal Chris is an award-winning writer. So in my old man's memory, I'm here trying to tell you that there's untapped potential for change and success in all of us, no matter where we start from. So cheers to dreams, even the unrealized ones. Now I'd like to analyze Carrey's real breakthrough in his career. So let's forward a bit to the 90s, the era of grunge, dial-up internet, and, of course, Jim Carrey exploding onto the scene. In Living Color was a 1990s comedy sketch show, and it was the breeding ground for his comedic genius, where he showcased a talent for transforming into characters that left us all in laughter. And this was the very moment that Hollywood collectively went, "This guy's going places." And oh boy did he go places. The 90s became the era of Jim Carrey blockbusters. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. 3 films that not only made box office history, but also turned Jim Carrey into a household name. His over-the-top physical comedy and an infectious energy were like a cinematic adrenaline shot. And then came the plot twist. Jim Carrey, the dramatic actor, and nobody saw this coming. The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it completely flipped the script, revealing a depth and versatility that left audiences in awe. Critics were nodding approvingly, saying, "This guy isn't just a funny face, he's got serious acting chops." Of course, no journey is without its bumps, and Carrey's personal life has seen its share of ups and downs. So, let's delve into the chapter of Jim Carrey's life that echoes with tragedy. In 2015, the news of his ex-girlfriend, Catriona White's death from a suicide stemming from a prescription medication overdose sent shockwaves through Carrey's world. Losing someone close is gut-wrenching, but what unfolded afterward was a convoluted and very public scrutiny of the events leading to her untimely demise. Accusations swirled around Carrey, painting a complex picture of the aftermath, and some claimed that he might have introduced her to the drugs that played a role in her passing. Others suggest he exposed her to sexually transmitted infections. And to add another layer of complexity, her suicide note allegedly contained references to him. The aftermath was a tangled web of grief, blame, and public scrutiny. And as if the personal anguish wasn't enough, White's family took legal action, suing Carrey for wrongful death. The courtroom became a battleground for emotions and accusations. However, in a surprising turn, the case was eventually dismissed. Many Jim Carrey fans claim that the case being dropped means he wasn't guilty. But the reality is that Jim Carrey settled this case out of court, meaning to avoid trial, he paid off Catriona's family to avoid further public shaming. And now let's inspect the final letter Catriona White left for the world to read. She wrote, and I quote, "You have not thought about the stigma that I have to live with for the rest of my life. You have not apologized or once asked if there's something that you can do to make it better, or even felt bad for it, or even asked me how I'm feeling about it. Instead, you did a whole lot of screaming and turned it around on me." End quote. It sounds like Jim Carrey was trying to gaslight this girl. He might have allegedly given her a permanent sexually transmitted disease. I mean, this is truly awful. It's quite disgusting, really, if you ask me. But Catriona's letter continues, and I quote, "You gave me HSV and HPV, and I want you to apologize for it because you care enough to. I want you to understand that however little things seem to you, it ruins a girl's life." End quote. It ruins anyone exposed to that disease. Nobody wants to have herpes. And the scary thing is that currently there are over 50 million people infected with herpes in the United States. That's about 14% of the total population. So that means that 1 in 8 persons in the US has genital herpes. So let's continue with Catriona's letter. She wrote, and I quote, "Before you, I might not have had very much, but I had respect. I was a happy person. I loved life. I was confident, and I felt good in my skin, and I was proud of most decisions I made. I met you, and you introduced me to cocaine, prostitutes, mental abuse, and disease. You did good things for me, but being with you broke me down as a person, Jim. I was promised Jekyll, and instead I got Hyde." End quote. This is very, very sad stuff, and that was very difficult to read, and I feel bad for her, and I honestly believe her. I know there's people out there accusing this dead woman of lying, but I think she's telling the truth, and she gave up her life for the truth that she was feeling and that ultimately took her away from the world. And, you know, in this period in Carrey's life, it showcases really the harsh spotlight that often accompanies fame. It's a stark reminder that even those we see as larger-than-life figures endure profound pain and complex challenges. So, in navigating these stormy waters, Carrey's resilience and ability to weather such public storm are a testament to the multifaceted nature of the human experience. The journey through tragedy is never a straightforward one, and for Jim Carrey, this chapter became a poignant and challenging part of his life story. This next thing isn't spoken of very often, so watch this section to the very end, and picture this. Jim Carrey, the man who made talking out of his butt seem totally normal in Ace Ventura, decided to take a break from his usual antics and post a rather, shall we say, unusual video on his blog.
This is a message for Emma Stone. Emma, I just wanted to let you know that I think you're all the way beautiful.
Now, his rep insists that it's comedy, but we're not entirely convinced. In this video confession, Jim goes all in with an extreme close-up, pouring his heart out to none other than Emma Stone. I mean, you heard that right. He starts off with the classic, "You're beautiful," but takes it up a notch, throwing in some gems like, and I quote, "If I were a lot younger, I would marry you. We would have chubby little freckle-faced kids," end quote.
I would marry you, and we would have chubby little freckle-faced kids. We'd laugh all day long, and go camping and play Yahtzee and tell ghost stories by the fire.
Classic Carrey, right? But then he takes a detour into a reality zone, and Jim Carrey says, and I quote, "Hold up, I'm 49. I've got lines on my face, a hint of gray in my beard, and my bathroom breaks take longer than what they used to." End quote. I mean, talk about keeping it real. I guess he wants to give Emma Stone a fresh batch of STDs. No, I'm kidding. He allegedly did that. Allegedly. So what's your take on this? Is he a total creepy weirdo, or is this simply sweet and romantic? Let me know in the comments below. Let's delve a little deeper into the post-2014 phase of Jim Carrey's life and explore the intriguing events that unfolded. After Jim Carrey's comments about the Illuminati in 2014, a series of tumultuous events seemed to cascade into his life. The personal tragedy that followed was the loss of his girlfriend, Catherine White, who, as we know, took her own life, and this devastating event was followed by many legal complications as White's family sued Carrey for wrongful death, as we discussed earlier in this video. The circumstances surrounding her passing and the subsequent lawsuit added layers of complexity to Carrey's already intricate life. And one might question whether Carrey's outspoken stance on the Illuminati somehow led to repercussions in his personal and professional life. The notion of being silenced or facing consequences for exposing certain beliefs has sparked debates among fans and conspiracy theorists alike. And, while it is tempting to attribute all of, his hardships to all of these external influences, it's crucial to consider the multifaceted nature of personal struggles and the challenges that can arise in the entertainment industry. Carrey's decision to officially retire from Hollywood added another layer to the narrative. Was this a response to the difficulties that he faced, or is there a deliberate choice to step away from the limelight? And, this decision fueled speculation and raised questions about the toll that fame and the pressures of the entertainment industry might have taken on Jim Carrey. Some even say that Jim Carrey was framed by the Illuminati, they murdered his girlfriend, they made him out to be a cocaine addict with herpes to destroy his public persona, and he proceeded to quit acting soon after. Is this an elaborate framing orchestrated by dark figures behind the Hollywood curtain? Or is Jim Carrey ashamed of what he's done, and now he's recluded into the darkness, hiding behind existential ideologies? If you, the viewers, have additional insight or information regarding Jim Carrey's journey during this period, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. The exchange of ideas and perspectives really enriches our understanding of the complexities of a celebrated figure like Jim Carrey. And now I'd like to announce the winner of last week's video. There was a giveaway that I was doing for the original Richie the Barber painting, and I selected one random individual from the comment section of that video, and the winner is Tebow2120. And I'm going to tag you at the top of this post. I'm going to pin it. You can respond back, and you can send me an email. We'll go through a series of security just to make sure that it's really you, and we'll go ahead and get the process going for getting that painting over to you. Thank you so much for watching the show, and thank you for staying tuned until the very end. This time that we spend together truly means the world to me. Take care, and I'll see you next week.